What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rivalry weekly NFC West, really just Seahawks 49ers talk with me, Joe Stevens, and Ryan from No Board Sports. How's it going?
What is up? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Obviously, the Seahawks preseason game, the first one, I think, not a lot of thorns. A lot of roses given out, not a lot of thorns, but I'd like to hear it because I watched a little bit. I watched a little bit of the game, your guys's, and I just kind of want to see how you guys are feeling because I haven't really gone on social media. I kind of listened to you and Ted today, so I just want to know how everything's looking, what you guys think.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. We've got a whole lot of, I would say, dismay. There's a lot of stuff going on. Brock Purdy is not doing well in practices. Trey Lance is not looking good in games per se.
No, he didn't. I'll be honest. So I was watching it from a completely non-biased point of view, right?
Uh-huh.
And it seemed like he was a lot less elusive than I thought he was.
I think that's because he was really trying to make sure he got the pass off. I noticed that a lot of the times he was looking downfield, you know what I mean, and not like seeing what's right next to him or right in front of him until it's too late. And then he's trying to get away, and there's no way you can at that point. You know?
Yeah, that seemed like the big thing to me is that it's, for one, he didn't get any blocking up front. That offensive line.
Well, now, but there's like a tale of two quarters here because the first quarter was really bad. You know what I mean? Blocking and Trey Lance wise. He was also extremely indecisive. He like, I think it was the first sack, which I think it was the first play. He stares down the guy. Well, no, sorry, he doesn't stare down the guy. He looks straight at the guy who's open. His defender is behind him. If he closes towards Trey Lance on a trajectory as Trey Lance just throws the ball, I don't see a way the defender can make a play on the ball. Does he have to move? Maybe, maybe not. You know what I mean? So there's a very good throw right there. Plus, there's a whole alley. Like, defensive line, offensive lineman, the offensive line made an actual lane for him to throw to, not to say it was planned, but here you go, boom. And he's like, nope. And then he tries to come over the middle for his check down over the middle. And that's when he gets sacked. And he's like, when I was talking with Ted earlier, it's like, look, Trey's very big on protecting the ball. He's very conservative with it, right? Okay, in this system, you can't be conservative because it takes too much time. You have to look at the receiver, and off that first picture you get, you have to figure out where the distance the defender is. You know what I'm saying? If it's too close, you got to move on. Trey's having issues with that. He's calibrating. So what he needs to do is he just needs to look at, throw it. Just believe the system. The scheme is there for a reason. It's supposed to open somebody up. The other thing he's doing is he's staring down his receiver, which is causing the scheme to not actually work. And if he was to look at the person that the scheme is built off of, aka the defensive person, whether it's a linebacker or a safety, he should just look at them. And the moment they make the decision, he needs to find the receiver that he needs to throw to, because that defender will be going to the person he shouldn't throw to. So once that defender makes that decision, Trey, you need to be moving to the other guy in the scheme to throw the ball to. He doesn't have trust in the receiver. He doesn't have trust in the scheme, but he does get better as time goes on. Everybody saw that in training camp. We've seen that in games that he watched. If he would just get some goddamn time,
Yeah, it's
we would
just
know. We would know.
yeah. What's up, Carcast? Thanks for being on the chat. Really appreciate it.
What up, Carcast?
If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to drop them in the comment section. But yeah, it seemed like not just Trey Lance, the whole offense was just disoriented when I watched you guys. And then, I don't know how, as a 49ers fan, I don't know how you feel. Obviously, it's one game, one preseason game that
Kind of.
That
it was against the Raiders. So your rivalry with the Raiders is kind of non-existent-ish anymore? No. Right. The 49ers and Raiders one is. It always will be, because it's torn between families. You know what I mean? The Bay is right there. You got Oakland and San Francisco. They're right across the bay from each other. So you got families that, keep the rivalry up. So the rivalry will go forever unless somehow they finally decide to stop paroling these Raiders fans and they stop showing Raiders games in the state prisons. Then I don't see the Raiders, shout out to all the Raiders fans out there doing 10 to 20. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I could see why it'd be kind of a big deal, but like I said, it's one preseason game, and I think the reason why you guys are so stressed out about the one preseason game is because that's when you're like, okay, Trey's gonna shine, right? This is his opportunity, right? He's gonna play what he played 2 quarters. He played a whole half, if I'm not mistaken, and he didn't move the needle. It seemed to me.
This is like having a wedding every year and not knowing if the cake is going to show up.
Yeah.
This is what we go through every year. We have no idea if the cake's going to show up.
Yeah, for the past 3 years, right? This will be year 3.
Yeah, it's you can even go back even further, because if you think about it, in the Kyle regime, since then, when he first started this regime, he was going for these bottom end quarterbacks that everybody was like, he's not going to be the quarterback for long unless we see something out of him, and we never did. So there was always who's going to be the quarterback next year? As long as Kyle Shanahan's been in this league or been in this franchise, there has always been a question mark at the quarterback position, whether anybody wants to admit it or not.
Yeah, no, I got you. And then I heard, I was listening to Mike Florio today on
Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Something about Nick Mullins in a second. He looked pretty all right. He was quarterback for the Vikings last weekend. He looked pretty sharp. So I was listening to Florio.
Nick Mullins isn't scared of shit, just so you know. Nick Mullins isn't scared of shit. And I really appreciate that about him.
So Florio came on with Softy today, and they kind of asked about the 49ers and like how everything's going. I guess he said if Kyle Shanahan had it his way, Trey Lance would be 3rd on the depth chart, and he would only come in if something happened.
Who said this?
Mike Florio.
So this is his opinion.
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't think Kyle has said anything to this account to anybody. And
then what else?
Do you think Kyle's like, hey Mike, let me talk to you? He doesn't like talking to the media, right? Let me talk to you and not everybody else.
I guess he's tight with Chris Sims, though, and Chris Sims is tight with Florio.
Well, yes, they're very tight, but that doesn't mean that. Look, Chris Sims thought they were going for Mac Jones.
Yes, that's another thing that Florio said on the radio today.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, I think Kyle just keeps Sims out of the loop, because it's like, look, We can't have a problem in my friendship and my career if we don't mix them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He probably whispers to Sims about stuff he hears around the league. You know what I mean? In other organizations, because there's no skin off his back. He's like, homie, I'll hit you with some stuff. But I don't know if he even does that to get in there, because I don't know if, you don't want get caught dishing out somebody else's dirt and then they now are just looking for anything that you got. You know what I mean?
There was one thing he said, and I heard you guys kind of say it today too. I was working and listening to you and Ted today. I guess Kyle Shanahan also said if Purdy doesn't melt, or what did he say? If the only way that Purdy's not our starter is if he melts in
he'd
practice.
have to melt in practice.
So what the? I only want to talk about this for a second because I know you've been talking about it all day. What's the point in not having a quarterback competition when you have three guys that you think are quality quarterbacks?
Because you don't believe there's actually a competition right now, right?
I thought there was until I heard that.
Yeah. Okay, so also Brock Purdy has been, like today, he got 20 reps in practice. He got 20 attempts in practice, completed 11 of them, threw 2 touchdowns. One was a dropped pick six. And he had a drop pick six plus 2 interceptions. Yeah. And I'm not saying we should really. They shouldn't have said that he's full go and ready to go right now. I would have said he can play. He doesn't have to miss any days, but I wouldn't be saying he's full go right now because he's not. It doesn't seem like he's showing it in practice. So to me, what I would be doing, this is what I would do. Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and Sam Darnold. They would all get around the same amount of reps. Depends on what I'm trying to do certain days, but I would be right now trying to figure out what I have in Trey Lance. And I would have him with the first team right now. Once Brock shows through his reps that he's back to the same Brock, same old Brock, then Trey and Brock have a 50-50 competition. And Sam just sits it out. Not that I'm scared of Sam. I think having Sam on this team could be a really good thing. And how you could spoil it is by trying to make him the week 1 starter.
If I was you, I wouldn't want to see Sam at all. Realistically.
Well, we don't. But what I'm saying is, like, if he can get his ghosts out, get confidence in the system, and if he needs to come out and play for us, then he could go out. He's got an arm. He's got a capability of playing out there at a high level at times. His issue is making these boneheaded plays out of the middle of nowhere. And if he's in a better spot mentally and he doesn't seem to make these boneheaded plays, well, what would be the problem in that? I don't want to put too much on his plate and like get him all like discombobulated or, like wound up or something to the point where he feels like it's like almost like getting back to football before you've done all your rehab and it's 100%. You're just going to end up wrecking it again or doing more damage. Like, I just want him to be 100%, ghosts out of the closet, knows the system so he doesn't have to lean on any bad habits to try and get through a series, I don't want any of that. I just want him to be able to go in there and go, no, I totally got this. I know exactly what's going to happen every play. I feel confident in that. I can go out there and just let Kyle be the smart man calling plays, and I can just throw to the side where the gimmick is. You know what I'm saying? Throw to the side where the gimmick is.
I kind of want to say this. I kind of don't.
Say it.
I was kind of thinking this earlier. I know Ted talks a lot of shit about Geno Smith, right? He goes, I think Geno is going to turn into a pumpkin, blah, blah, blah. I think if Geno Smith was your quarterback last year, he would have won the Super Bowl. I think if Geno Smith was your quarterback this year, there'd be a lot less questions. So I really do. Geno has, knock on wood, he literally did not take a snap off last year.
No, look, Geno did very good. I don't think he's going to turn into a pumpkin. Really.
And the reason I think that there's so many 49ers fans that do not think highly of Geno Smith is because arguably 2 of his worst games last year came against you guys. In the first week that we played you guys, and then the Thursday night game that we played you guys.
Well, I watched a lot of the Seahawks games last year, live and on replay, because
that's what I mean.
That's one of the things I was like, this guy Geno is doing really good, and I was watching. He has his times where he's accurate, and he has other times when he's not. And if you could play, like press man, and you're all over the wide receiver and don't give him any room, it's hard for Geno when he's having one of them off days to get those completions.
Yeah, he had a couple of them last year, but really not that many.
And he's not like horrible where it like none of them get in there. You know what I mean? It's a lot more difficult for your offense to put up points and sustain drives. But it doesn't mean that you didn't win half of those games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think at this age, the only thing that could really make him turn into a pumpkin is all mental. And I think from what he's been through, I think he's pretty safe from that. Not to say that he's 100%, but he's faced some of the toughest, what do you call them? Not adversity. Network. No. Markets? He's been in some of the toughest markets in the toughest position there is to be in on an NFL team.
Dude, he was the guy that, what's his name? That coach for the Giants that nobody liked with the slick back hair. That coach was all pissed off at Eli Manning, so he pulled him from his consecutive start things and put Geno Smith in to break that. And what the fuck's Geno supposed to do? Because everybody hates Geno because of that and that point. But I mean, you're a career backup basically. What are you going to do? Say no? That was in New York, so it's one
because
of the
this is the thing. If he says no, that's going to get around the league to the teams. Oh, he said no. They called on him. He said no. Yeah, try and show up. Hey, I'm Geno Smith. I want to try out. No, we're good. You said no when they called you up, and it's the teams are just going to side with other teams when it's like that because they have to like show a unified front on things until it comes down to something they want.
Yeah.
Just how it goes.
All right. We spent 20 minutes talking about quarterbacks. I want to get to something else. Who were your stars and who were your fuck this guy looks like shit in your games?
Oh, Ronnie Bell. That was the star. That was one of the biggest stars. A lot of people didn't say. A lot of people. I liked what Jair Brown was putting on tape. I like what Ambry Thomas was putting on tape. D Winners. They're doing some good stuff out there. It's just they couldn't be everywhere all at once. So,
is he a safety, Ronnie Bell?
Who? Ronnie Bell? No, he's the wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
So Ronnie Bell's the one who almost caught the ball and it ended up being an interception there in the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. And he even said in the press conference, he says, man, I feel like such a bad teammate. He's like, because that stat goes on Brandon's, scorecard, you know what I mean? And it's my fault. So what up, Nathan? But yeah, so Ronnie, you'll see Ronnie around. You'll see Ronnie. Don't worry. Ronnie's going to make this team. Ronnie's going to be a part of the offense. He's going to be also on special teams. You'll see Ronnie Bell. We also had Tay Martin out there doing a great job. Ty Davis Price did a great job in the run game. I thought he looked better than my man Jordan Mason.
So I was going to ask you about Mason. Is he 24?
Yes.
Kind of looks like Marshawn in the backfield a little bit. Wearing
Oh.
24 in dreads.
Yes.
Yeah. So why was he wearing one glove? That was just weirding me out the whole time. I was like, what's he going to drop back and throw it one play? Or
He goes forward fast and hard. I ain't questioning shit.
Okay.
Hey, Jordan Mason's the reason why Trey Sermon, pick out of the 3rd round, is no longer on the team.
Yeah, that's what you were saying last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, any guys that you watched and you were like, oh, they need to get rid of him?
The whole offensive line.
Okay. And obviously Trent
bad.
Williams wasn't in there.
We didn't have a single starter, I don't think.
So that's what we did. I think there was 2 starters for the first couple drives in our offense.
And people were like, Trey Lance looked like crap, and it's like he was running for his life for the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you got my text when that game was on, right? I texted you. What did I say? Sorry, I'll have to go back to it. What did I say? I said, bro, Lance is running for his life right now. You said, yeah, my line sucks at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Nathan likes Ronnie Bell as well.
Oh, yeah. Every 49er fan right now is talking about Ronnie Bell. Also, there was a little bit of Braden Willis in there, but he didn't really get showcased very well. He didn't really have a lot going on. Also,
one receiver you guys always talk about, but I can never remember his
Danny
name.
Gray.
Yeah, what'd he do?
I don't think Danny Gray played a snap.
Okay.
Which pretty much means that
he made it. He's on the team.
Yeah. Well, at this point, he made it and he's on the team. We also had Ray McDonald go out for an injury. So it looks like Kyle's saying he's not going to be on IR. He might be back by week 1, which I think is a little optimistic, but who knows? So we might have an extra spot that we need. So Danny might already be like, no, I need somebody who's a year because we're going into uncharted territory here without our Ray McDonald, Ray McLeod.
He said Chris Connolly looked different or looked decent, not different. Yep. Boy, yeah.
Kinlaw. Hey, Javon Kinlaw.
He showed up.
Oh man, did he? He showed up on like all the tape getting pushed to the side and out of the way of the ball.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I like it. I like Kinlaw looks the part, dude. If I were to look at Kinlaw, I'd go, honestly, look at Kinlaw and you go, yeah, that guy's the shit. I bet he'd be a great defensive lineman. And then you see like that. There was one play against the Eagles that everybody kept highlighting when I'd look at Kinlaw. And
it's when he was getting pushed sideways out of the hole. Yeah. Not out of the hole, but yeah, he's getting it. This last game was pretty much that all over again.
And against second stringers.
Over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and against the second team. So I guess
over and over and over again.
So I guess another question for you would be, I guess if like 2 of your offensive linemen get hurt, middle of the season, are you kind of freaking out now after seeing what you saw this weekend? Like, is there one particular guy that you saw just let pressure in through and through? Or
there was I haven't gone back and looked at the offensive line. Okay, like because it looks so shitty. I've just kind of gone through Trey Lance, essentially Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's all we've been really talking about. I haven't been able to go back in and look at the offensive line, which I should. It was bad.
So I'll tell you, with the Seahawks, I'd say just about everyone was a star except Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock looked like he is a backup quarterback. He threw an interception that they say it was tipped, but even if it wasn't tipped, it's like, who's he throwing the ball to? It went right to the defender, just hit him in the chest, and he picked it off. But then again, he had dude, this guy, Drew Lock is basically like Brett Favre on crack. With the throws that he makes, when he makes them, you're like, oh my God, how did he make that? But then he'll make like the most boneheaded ones too, so it just makes no sense. He's a gunslinger, basically. If, knock on wood, if Gino gets hurt, I'm scared. Other than him, I'd say Boye Mafe really stepped up. Mike Morris, he's a rookie defensive tackle from Michigan. He just lived in the backfield. And same with Derek Hall, our rookie from Auburn. Devin Bush was all over the place. Kobe Bryant looked great. Trey Brown looked great. Our rookie, Zach Charbonnet, the running back we drafted in the second round, he is not afraid of contact, and I love that. Just lowers his shoulder. And then Bryant's guy, Jake Bobo, was like the star of the game. That's who everybody's talking about, which is insane because I thought there was no way he was going to even sniff making the roster. But you can't count Bryant out. Bryant has some very good points at times. Yeah, when they don't make sense to anybody else, right?
Yes.
You're like, dude, that makes no sense. He's like, oh, yeah, that's going to happen.
Hey,
he has no reasoning for it, though. Bryant has no reasoning, but somehow it works. Like, he has no reasoning, but he's still correct.
We did a whole hour-long show talking about why Jake Moody would be picked with the 99th pick. We did a whole show about it. And it happened. That it was my idea to do the show. It was his idea that Jake Moody was going to get picked at 99. Yeah, because I was like, we need to talk about this, Bryant, because nobody is taking you seriously, and we need to lay it out. We need to lay it out for everybody because they weren't taking him seriously. And I was like, I wasn't taking him seriously. And I just decided, I was like, well, let's listen to the man. And I started thinking, and between us, we had a very good reason why Jake Moody would be taken at the 99th pick.
Dude, I swear to God. So he balled out during the mock game, and he has during training camp. And I'm like, no way he's going to do it during the preseason, right? So I text Bryant, and I just say, let me find it here.
I don't think Jake Bobo's coming to the Niners.
I said, hey, just letting you know, Bobo's standing by the bench. I think he knows his role already, LMAO. And then he goes off. So he says, LOL. My next text to him was like an hour later. I said, Jake Bobo with the tutty. That was my next text. Because he only had, I think he had 4 catches for 58 yards, but that one touchdown he scored, he burned the guy. And then on special teams, he got down. The refs kind of screwed up because they thought his foot was on the line, but it was the guy standing next to him. He sprinted down, got his foot right outside the goal line, and batted the ball back in bounds. But if you rewatch it, obviously from the stadium, we couldn't tell. You thought he was in the end zone. But if you rewatch it, I think he's going to, based on playing special teams as well, I think he probably will make the team as the 5th receiver.
Yeah. What was I going to say? We had something. Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell, I think, got, 17 yards on the end and around that he did. And then he had, I think, 3 catches for 59 yards.
Yeah, that sounds like about Jake Moody's stats.
Yeah. So it seems like we got a Jake Bobo on our team, and you got a Ronnie Bell. And like Ronnie Bell finishes hard. Like, he's got that Debo-esque, like, I'm going to make you pay, bitch. Like, if you're trying to arm tackle me, I'm going to make you pay. you better just take me to the ground because I'm, if you're gonna try and tackle me, you're gonna earn it. You got to earn it. He's
I
got
gotta
that.
tell you this.
I love players like that.
What did he do? I guess Bobo went up before the game, like right to the visitors' tunnel, and went up to the cornerback he knew he was going to be going against. He said, "Better lace him up. It's going to be a long fucking game." And that made the headlines. I guess he was like in the tunnel, like halfway to the locker room. Like another Viking said it, not the cornerback. He goes, "This dude walks by me," and I'm like, "Dude, are you lost?" And I guess he went right up to the cornerback and said, "Better lace him up. It's going to be a long fucking game." It might have even, I could have swore it said it was at halftime too. So it wasn't even like during, yeah, it was like the middle of the game. And I kind of dug that.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Patton, but there's a part in there where if you don't know about the Battle of the Bulge, the 82nd Airborne, I believe it was it's either the 82nd or the 101st, but I think they were both around the area. Anyway, they were surrounded in Bastogne, and the Germans asked for their surrender, and our commander just wrote them back nuts. So Patton hears one words of this. He says, "Man, anybody who is as clever as this needs to be saved." In the movie, he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just heard it. Somebody, my God, we got to save this man. We can't let this man die. This man is a national treasure. You know what I'm saying? It's like on a bridge too far. The Germans asked for the British paratroopers to surrender, and the British paratroopers say, "I'm sorry, we haven't got the facilities to take you all in."
Yeah. David McNiner's in the chat.
What's up,
David? I believe him and Bryant are doing a show here at 7 o'clock. So everybody in the chat, make sure to go check that out.
Yep, we'll be off before that to make sure everybody can get to there on time.
Another good thing I saw from the Seahawks is it seemed like their run fits were awesome. And that was a big problem last year. It wasn't that guys were...
What do you mean run fits? Like everybody's on the same page?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And it seemed like last year that was the issue. It seemed like with the new scheme last year, running the 3-4, nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. And it seems like this year, I mean, it's second stringers, but you believe that most of it's like what you're being preached, right? So, and there was a couple of first team guys in there, but it seemed like everybody knew where to go to completely. They were able to stop the screen, which was good because no Seahawks have been able to ever stop the screen dating back to 1976, with the exception of KJ Wright. I think who's the only player to ever stop a screen. And then, our special teams just looked awesome. Oh, and they got Kobe Bryant playing safety now instead of nickel. He's in there at strong safety.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he looked a lot more comfortable doing so.
Huh. We've moved Diamador Lenore to nickel.
Was he a safety?
No, he was the outside corner. And it seems like he's playing nasty in nickel. So seems like we'll have somebody new on the outside. That's not necessary. Our outside receivers, we don't normally, our outside cornerbacks, we don't really value that position as much as other teams do.
Not since Sherman, right?
Well,
he was the last big name I can think of.
Trevarius Ward is essentially our Sherman right now.
I thought he isn't on the team. No, Jimmy Ward not on the team.
Jimmy Ward's not on the team. We try to put our capital into our safeties. We want smart, hard-hitting safeties to be the reason why you don't throw the ball deep. It's because one of them guys is going to either intercept the ball or not bat it down. We weren't much for intercepting lately until this last year. but bat down the ball, or we're gonna make your receiver earn it. Like, I don't know if you remember, but Jimmy Ward put Deontay Adams like out on the ground there for a second in a clean legal hit. Just perfect. I mean, that's one of the best football plays I've ever seen, because to get his head in there in that position, because he wasn't giving up a box in his chest, and Jimmy hit him straight in the chest, knocked the wind out of him, and he was in there collecting himself. And that's the type of guys we have. And and we use our linebackers to really screw up everything in the middle, and everybody on the outside just kind of keeps everything in front of them. That's all we ask them to do.
Nathan misses Jimmy Ward. He is a dog.
Yes.
I always thought Jimmy Ward was pretty good too.
I love the way Jimmy shit talked. I love the way Jimmy called everybody out, like in the beginning of the year, or even like halfway through the off season. I loved everything about Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's with D'Amico over there in Houston, so he's still like with family. You know what I mean? Like, he's with somebody who's gonna respect him and treat him correctly. So I'm happy.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, we have a third string quarterback. Did you watch our game at all? The Seahawks game?
No.
Okay, we got this third string quarterback. He looks like fucking Tim Tebow. I don't know if I told you this. I saw him at the mock game when I was kind of fucking around saying it was Tebow. The first thing this guy does, he comes in there. He's this big white guy, left-handed. Looks like, in between a quarterback and a tight end size. And the first thing they do is put him on a quarterback draw. And everybody's going, well, obviously, I don't know about everybody, but I go, is that fucking Tim Tebow back there? He gets back, doesn't do much. The fourth quarter, he drops back and throws the ugliest pass I've ever seen. Score a touchdown. And I was like, dude, we got to fucking start this guy. We'll go 8-8 fucking easy.
Oh, God.
We got Jake Bobo in here himself.
I don't know if you didn't hear, Brian, if you're just tuning in, but Jake Bobo will not be seeing waivers.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He had a Ronnie Bell type game last game, and he's also showing up on special teams. So doesn't look like we're getting a Jake Bobo anytime soon, sir.
But hey, good call, Bryant. Pete and John were listening to my podcast, and they were like, oh, this Bryant guy loves Jake Bobo. We should give him a look.
Yeah, we gave you your flowers earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Tebow's underrated. If the Niners could get him, I'll tell you what. Yeah. I love it that every time Tebow gets brought up in like national story, they just post that picture of him throwing the ball at practice, and it lands in. It's like a duck, and then it looks like a punt that traveled like 10 yards, and then just hit the turf. Like, didn't go anywhere. So.
Tebow should have just tried to be a kicker.
But yeah, we got Tebow 2.0 and Colton Ayers, something like that. I don't know. He sucks, but maybe he'll be good one day.
Like, you guys have had some great third string quarterbacks.
Not really.
I don't know. You've had some guys that were pretty flashy. I remember 5-6 years ago. I think there was a Williams.
There's BJ Daniels.
Oh, they had Daniels. Yeah, I don't.
Terrell Pryor was a backup of ours for a little bit.
Not that guy. It was BJ before that. I remember he had a guy who I was like, why are you guys keeping Gino and cutting? You know what I mean? Like, because you had Gino, I believe, as your backup at the time. And this guy came in.
Gino started as our backup in 2019.
Okay, so wasn't him. Who was their Seneca Wallace?
Oh, that was a long time. Long
Right?
time.
Who was it? Who was Russell Wilson's backup, like steady backup there forever?
Brett Huntley,
No.
Tavares Jackson.
Was it Tavares Jackson? I don't think so.
BJ Daniels, and then I can't think of the other guy's name.
Like
Started with a T, I want to say. I couldn't tell you. Here, I'll look it up.
Wait, did Seneca Wallace play when Russell Wilson played?
No, he was 03 through 09.
Okay. It would have been sometime after he got drafted to the team because he wasn't there then. And then once Russell became Russell, you had I swear you had one guy on your team who was like you guys a steady backup. And I was like, why keep him? It may have been before. I don't think it was before Russell Wilson. Because no way you were going to be. These guys had they could run the ball, they could throw the ball. They were lighting up the fourth quarter in your preseason games. There was like one or two guys that you had, and they were like back-to-back years. Wilson was playing at the time.
Let's look up our 2015 roster.
I swear one of them was named Williams. Last name was Williams or something like that.
I don't think so, but let's see. Let's just take a look.
Because you guys had a couple guys I was like, I'll steal them. Because we didn't have much going on. I was like, why don't we steal them? Because I like people give you options. They got more that they can do than just stand in a pocket and throw the ball. Not saying you need to run them like a running back, like a Lamar Jackson, but it's nice to be able to add an element to your run game to where people have to respect things. It's nice to be able to come up with a play when things break down and
Boykin, Trayvon Boykin. That's what I was thinking.
Boykin was one of them.
Because other than that, it was B.J. Daniels, Brett Huntley, Tavares Jackson, Daniels? Matt Flynn, Geno Smith, Alex Magoo, maybe.
No.
Seneca Wallace was a good one because he had to play like half the season when Hasselbeck was always hurt.
Didn't he pass away?
Tavares Jackson did, yeah.
Oh, Tavares
also,
Jackson.
Rest in peace, Alex Collins. He passed away on a motorcycle accident, I think Tuesday. No, today's Wednesday. Maybe Monday? Monday.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
I didn't even realize he was dating a girl I went to high school with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was posting, she posted a picture of him, and she's like, to the love of my life. And I was like, what? Yeah, they were dating. So, real sad. Motorcycle accident. Be careful. Everybody when you're out there riding motorcycles.
Yeah, don't drink and drive on a motorcycle.
I don't know if he was.
I'm just saying, just don't. It's not good. My grandpa Belial, I believe he lost his brother that way.
Motorcycle accident?
Yeah, my grandma, ever since that happened, my grandma was like, anytime one of the boys or one of the kids came home with a motorcycle, she was like, those things are dangerous. You know what I mean? Like she was pissed and terrified that she was going to lose one of her kids or sons on one of them things. So she was like, always like pissed that they'd even think about having one or bringing it around her. You know what I mean? Like Grandma Burl was the shit. She was about 5'2" and didn't take shit from nobody.
Yeah. It's usually how the short ones are.
She took suggestions from Grandpa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he was the man who ran the place. She let him run things, but there was times where she let him know that what was about to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't getting away with this, or, we're not doing that. I don't know what you're thinking, but, she was really down. She used to point out other pretty women to my grandpa.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else been going on in 49er land other than everybody pissed off about quarterbacks?
Supposedly, yep, that's what we're talking about. Supposedly we should have a Bosa in camp. I think I heard in camp within the next 7 to 10 days. And that
Bosa in camp with a contract, or
I think it's with a contract, because I don't think Bosa's stepping in camp without a contract set in place.
I don't know. He's worth it, dude. He really is.
Oh yeah,
he's worth it. So, not a lot of guys, I'd say, kind of just like, give him market value, and that's that, right? He's one of the few guys where I'd say just give him market value. You got to, right?
Why like fight over the little stuff when you're just going to have to pay you're going to have to pay? Just get it over with. So when he gets this bag and you didn't fight him, then later on when he wants that second bag, you can go, hey, do you want to win we need some help, and I was wondering if you could just kind of take a friendly deal here and we could try and put some of this money on other players and make a run.
That's why.
That's why I'm always like, give them the bag first. And then when their second contract comes, that's when you could be like, look, hey, we didn't argue about that, when it came to your first bag, because we knew you needed, and we know you're worth it now. We're just wondering and at that point, once they've been given the bag, if they've done any sort of investing with that, they're good for life.
Yeah, I do. Dude, I'd do $30 million a year for Bosa.
Yeah.
That's about what he's worth, right? He didn't play last 4 games. I don't know. When that guy's on the field, he makes a difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's cool. Hopefully you'll have a Bosa signing at camp. Like I said, the only thing I'd worry about is just that soft tissue stuff,
Yeah, but that's the one thing, is if he comes out there and tries to like be Nick Bosa day one, you know what I mean? There could be some issues there, but I also think they're smart, and he's smart, and he's just going to be like, you kind of have to kind of wade into practice. You can't just go out, strap on the pads, and be like, yep, we're here. You got to have, and plus, like, those practices are nice and long and hot, so you need to make sure you're kind of ready for all that as far as your conditioning goes. So I'm sure he's going to have some times where he's there in camp, but he's not putting the pads on and going before he actually starts putting on the pads. So I think he'll be eased in to make sure everything's good. I'm not worried about really much, because he's a consummate pro. He has been since, I think, high school.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like Bosa a lot. I think he's worth it. I like Warner a lot. I think he's worth whatever they want to pay. But the problem is there's a salary cap, right? And that's it.
Dude, Warner is worth every dollar.
With me, I want the players to get paid, right? But I'm a fan of the Seahawks, number one, right? So, in baseball, do I think it's cool if a player takes less? No, because there's no salary cap. I don't think that's cool at all. But in football, that's the only reason why I don't like guys getting all the money that they want, right?
That's why I think they need to take the quarterback salary out of the cap.
Well, you guys don't have that issue right now.
No.
And neither.
But we kind of do. We've got 18.
$10 million with Lance.
10 million with Lance, 8 million with Darnold.
$8 million with Darnold.
Yeah, I think altogether.
Purdy's making like $900,000.
No, I think he's. Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
He's a 7th round pick.
Yeah. God. See, this is what's wrong with how people get paid. It should be you get drafted where you at, you get paid for that, but then once somebody comes in and takes over a position on this and is a starter on the offense or the defense, and they're being, a producer of some sort, I think they deserve to get a raise, because I don't think it's worth having these guys work for pennies on the dollar, essentially, compared to other people.
Oh, you mean like Purdy last year?
Yeah. I don't think it's fair that Brock Purdy, what he did last year, he comes back making less than a tenth of what Trey's getting. I don't think that's fair.
No.
I just there should be some sort of thing that kicks in where it doesn't count against the cap, but you got to pay them for how they're playing. I think that should be done, especially with the running backs. Steve-O,
yeah, he did. He did with the Raiders, remember?
Are you the panel? Goat never lost the Super. Oh.
What was Jerry Rice's record in the Super Bowl? Steve-O said 3-1. And then he said the GOAT never lost the Super Bowl, but he did when he was a Raider. I don't know how many he won with the 49ers.
Joe Montana didn't lose a Super Bowl.
Yeah. 4?
Yeah.
And they were all with Rice?
No. Rice, I think, has 4 of them, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. Yeah, what do you got going on? Tomorrow we're going to live stream a game, so everybody, we'll be live streaming the Browns and Eagles, and it won't be too boring because I think we're going to have the ESPN graphic up. We can't have the game on the screen, but we'll have the ESPN play-by-play graphic up, I think, right? And then
sure,
maybe we can have people call in, kind of like a Manning cast, talk about the game with us, maybe.
Yeah.
See how it goes, right? Why not?
If you want to come in during the show, make sure to hit one of us up on Twitter.
Yeah. Or over email if David Corona wants to come in and drop some knowledge.
If you just want to come on and say hi, that's cool too.
I don't know if David Corona is going to come on though, because the Cowboys aren't playing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, he would probably want to come on when the Cowboys are playing, so he can wear his jersey.
Yeah, so he can use his cup.
Yeah.
And his wife drinks.
He'll probably be watching it at his bar and grill too.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Shout out to the San Francisco Giants, David Corona's favorite baseball team.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get a Corona sighting in here tonight, and we didn't get a John Jay sighting in here tonight. So there was couldn't even talk shit about who's a Dodgers or Giants or Warriors or Lakers fan. So.
Oh, hey, we got to wrap it up. Bryant's show is starting.
Oh yeah, everybody go hop on Bryant Colb's channel. With that, we will see you guys tomorrow, 4:30 p.m.
Peace.